Hey everyone, I'm Charlotte, and here is episode 7 Environment Studies. So, the piece you see on screen is genuinely the most artistic liberty I've taken because at the point when I was drawing this piece, I hadn't known perspective, and handling an environment wasn't my cup of tea. More to say that I hadn't been familiar with it at all. But, anyways, it did come out really beautiful and it became representative of a nature scene, right? Although the colors started off pale and I wasn't sure if it would turn out right, I'm genuinely glad that we persisted through. Because I think I remember choosing a very subtle color palette and I wasn't using the strokes with good amount of sensitivity because I was afraid that bold colors might ruin the painting. But then again, through the course of this piece, there was a lot of drawing and redrawing, deleting layers, adding more layers, adding another color palette. But it did turn out right. It was definitely time consuming, and as you can see on screen, there were a lot of decisions I kept questioning, but it was worth it. And it helped with the reflection of the connection that I personally share with nature. And in the sense that how I view nature through my eyes, I love the colors of the sunlight on the leaves. And I'm glad that at the end of it, at least, that bit showed through. So it became a lock screen for my phone for a really long time. Anyways, moving on. We have an environment piece that I practically cried myself to. I'm not even joking. But now before you question why, it wasn't because the piece itself was hard, but because I was in so much pain physically the day I was drawing this. And the reason I drew it itself was because I wanted to distract myself from the pain. I was outside, but I had my equipment with me, and so I wanted to just persist through and draw something. And it was really sad when I was drawing this piece, but it helped with the rendering because I was more confident with the colors, and it was beautiful distraction for a certain time. And it's a reminder personally that shows that there is beauty even through the course of pain. It's so hard to say that statement without flinching at the thought of physical pain that I went through during the course of this piece. But oh, such a beautiful piece. And it wouldn't have been born if it weren't for that excruciating pain. So I'm grateful. Something about environmental pieces having more of a story than ones with characters. So this next one is actually inspired by a photo taken by a friend of mine. She genuinely has an aesthetic sense, and it is constantly reflected upon her casual photography of things. Even when she posts stories or things like that, there's always an aesthetic sense, and I love that. And one such photo was this reference, a park in Australia, I believe. So yes, shout out to Sharon for the beautiful reference and for allowing me to relish beauty and create this piece. Even though I've never physically been to this place, it's like a special bond with her through the course of this piece. So I'm grateful for friends, and I'm thankful for this piece. So finally, I think I started to draw buildings after this piece. Okay, before you come at me, I know there is a previous piece where there's Ezra and there's a tall building, art deco patterns and all of that sort. But there's never just a building, because I don't like drawing environmental pieces, to be very frank. But at one point or the other, I realized that, buildings need to be drawn. The comic is probably going to have a lot of panels with just buildings, and it's going to be beyond characters. So I forced myself to draw this piece. But in terms of the final result, I am content with it for now. Maybe because I don't experiment a lot with environmental pieces. But it's a good piece. It's a good start, and that's one thing that I've learned is that while you're expanding to unfamiliar things and things out of your comfort zone, it might not come as pretty as the other ones that you're used to, but that's okay. So the dimensions for the piece that you currently see on screen was full screen, and that's why I couldn't place the reference on the side, and so had to reduce the visibility in order to use the reference and draw. But again, environmental pieces, either I'm just drawing out of necessity because I think, oh, I've never drawn this particular thing before, or because I'm so inspired by the reference, I'm like, yes, I need to get this on paper. And this was the latter. So the reference was so beautiful that it was just too beautiful to ignore that I knew I had to draw, even though I have not done a landscape piece at all. Again, usually when selecting color palettes, I'm more sensitive to thinking about, oh, will this work well or not? But then with this piece, it almost came naturally to stay true to the original colors with a bit of a personal touch. And it's such a beautiful memory because it's so pleasing to look at. I love this piece. But yeah, it's very abstract of sorts, but it's still beautiful. And I'm so glad that this is there as a reminder of a landscape piece. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!